62 years ago, a bunch of white guys killed a young black boy by the name of Emmett Till. Over the last 10 years, Emmett Till has been the poster boy of this relentless white on black violence and harassment and murder, which has done so much to keep the brothers down. That, of course, is part of the biggest fairy tale, part of the biggest hoax, the biggest lie of our generation, the myth of black victimization. Every once in a while, somebody comes to our YouTube channel and they try to spread this myth around by throwing some numbers at us. Nothing more dangerous than a delusional person that just came up with a number they think is true, and they say, well, Colin, last year, X percent of white people were attacked by white people, X percent black people by black people, and that proves you're wrong, Colin. Now, here are the numbers you need to know. That if there's 100 white people walking down one side of the street, 100 black people walking down the other side of the street, if you're walking down the middle, if you're a white person, you are 27 times at least 27 times more likely to be attacked and murdered by the people on the black side of the street than the white side of the street. 27 times. I think that number's bigger. I just got an email from a Chicago law enforcement official. We have so many law enforcement officials in Chicago watching this channel, reading the books, spreading the books around. They don't really spread the books around to other cops. What they do is they give them to their families. Go read this book, I beg of you. Because I don't really talk about what's going on around the house that much. But here's somebody that has written a book. This is what I would say if I could write a book. I hear that so much from cops, not just in Chicago, but from all around the country. So the story this cop told me was, Colin, on murder, here's how you cook the books on murder. Somebody gets shot. They get carted away. They die a week later. Nobody has the slightest idea who killed them. The murder clearance rates are very low in chocolate cities. The clearance rates for murder are low, but they're higher than the other crimes. I mean, the clearance rate for burglary, assault, car theft, they're in the teens. It means they either got the person who did it or they know who did it, but they're not charging them. So the clearance rate for murder in places is 20, 30, 40%. And so what happens is, you cart the person away. It takes them a couple of days to die from the gunshot, from the knifing, from the beating, from the baseball bats. And, a week later, nobody knows who did it. They're not going to spend a lot of time jiggling with this file. They just put the file in the, we'll get around, we'll solve it if somebody comes in and confesses to it file. A lot of these cases, some of these cases never get reclassified as homicides. That's from a cop in Chicago who wants you to know that. And so whatever the number is of black on white homicide versus white on black, some people say it's 27 times greater. One's greater than the other. All I know is I keep putting up these black on white murders, of even black on white robberies, horrific black on white torture and murder up on this channel, and very rarely will somebody come back and go, hey Colin, what's up with this white on black murder? Yeah, and of course the only ones that can do it is they come back and say, hey Colin, what's up with this cop killing this black guy for no reason whatsoever? No reason whatsoever means that he had a gun pointing at the cop. The cop took his gun out and shot him. So let's take a look at some recent black on white murders, and let's contemplate how they're wildly out of proportion. I threw in a black on white, a cop on black shooting, just a reminder what the cops are going through all the time.
33-year-old Jennifer Taylor and her 9-year-old daughter, Marissa Lynn Taylor, were found shot to death Thursday night on West Orange Street, just yards from Fitzgerald High School. Police got the call around 6 yesterday night. Chief William Smallwood says police arrested 38-year-old Veartis Tyrone Wallace this morning in the case. He's reportedly Taylor's boyfriend and was taken into custody without incident.
He was located at a relative's apartment at Pine Point Apartments on Perry House Road. When you have a child involved, it's really hard on your officers and everybody.
Fitzgerald police did turn this case over to the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and Wallace was set to make his first court appearance either today or tomorrow, and that's when he's expected to be charged with 2 counts of murder.
Authorities are now naming the policeman in last night's officer-involved shooting at a Little Rock Red Lobster. He was shot in the shoulder responding to a robbery in progress. He's now been released from the hospital. Channel 7's Matt Mershon was at the police press conference this afternoon, and he joins us now with the latest. Matt.
Now, that officer has been identified as Sean Bacher, a training division officer with Little Rock Police since 2011. Bacher now on administrative leave after exchanging gunfire last night with several alleged robbers who, according to police, shot first. An investigation going on now, and police still searching for one of those suspects. Little Rock police say patrons were inside the Red Lobster on Markham Street Saturday night when 3 armed males tried to rob the seafood chain restaurant. Little Rock Police Chief Kenton Buckner saying it's not the first time the restaurant's been targeted.
They've had security there for several months now, and Officer Bacher was working in an off-duty capacity.
Little Rock.
We gotta get guys employed. We gotta get people employed, Skip. Because if you don't have money and you want something nice, either I got 1 or 2 ways: I sell drugs, or I go steal it, or I go take it.
Breaking tonight, major developments in the murders of 2 mid-Michigan men. We have our first look at the men found dead in Owasso Friday night. 31-year-old Joseph Carson and 39-year-old Anthony Hammond both leave behind a wife and 2 children. Tonight, Michigan State Police say they have arrested 2 men connected to the case and are telling us why the men were killed. First, new information about the arrest. State police say 2 brothers, ages 31 and 23, were arrested last night and this morning in Grand Rapids. ABC 12's Amy Hybels is live in Flint Township at the Michigan State Police Post. And Amy, we now know what led up to their deaths.
That's right. Well, we're learning that the Flint men were apparently killed in a Craigslist transaction gone wrong. Now, state police investigators tell us that Carson and Hammond had agreed to meet the Grand Rapids brothers in the parking lot of an Owasso Walmart to sell marijuana. That's when the Grand Rapids brothers decided to rob Carson and Hammond. State police say at some point the Grand Rapids brothers shot and killed the Flint men. Police expect the brothers to be formally charged early next week. Now, tonight we're learning much more about Carson and Hammond. Both leave behind a wife and 2 children. Families of the men are asking for help to lay them to rest. GoFundMe pages are set up, and we have those links posted with this story on abc12.com. Now, this evening, I did have the chance to talk with a relative of Joe Carson. He tells me that Carson was a medical marijuana card holder. State police say they are still investigating the legality of the transaction to determine if the men involved in all of this were legally allowed to possess marijuana.
Right now, police are searching for a second man that they say shot and killed a father trying to sell his son's dirt bike on Craigslist. Tampa police said that 44-year-old James Beck and his son met the suspects in Tampa after talking with them several times. They met at North 18th Street and East 24th Avenue in Tampa last night. And as soon as they met the potential buyers, the father and son knew that they were going to be robbed. Beck was shot in the back and he died. Tampa police were able to identify and find 16-year-old Ramontre Williams. He is being charged as an adult with first-degree murder. Officers say they found the bike near his home. Detectives are looking for the second man or the teen who was with Williams at the time.
This is an extremely busy area, Sharon, Micah, and from what we've heard so far about these victims, they're everyday, normal, innocent people just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, for those of you watching right now, if you've ever been to Hollywood and on Sunset Boulevard, trust me, you've been by this Jack in the Box before. It's on Sunset Boulevard, directly across the street from Amoeba Music and the ArcLight Cinema. Gotta warn you guys, we do have video of this attack. It was caught on tape, but it is graphic, it is violent, and if there are children watching right now, this might be a good time for them to look away.
Whoa! He just stabbed. What? Whoa!
And immediately, we see two cops rushing to the side door of the Jack in the Box with guns drawn. And then the next thing we hear is pop, pop, pop.
A man armed with a knife goes on a stabbing spree inside and outside of a Hollywood fast food restaurant. 3 people were cut and stabbed before officers got in and stopped the suspect with deadly force.
It was so scary. It was, I'm still on edge right now.
The LAPD says calls for help were made at 2 p.m. in the afternoon at the Jack in the Box on Sunset Boulevard and Ivar Avenue across from the CNN building. A witness who sent us this terrifying video said the knife-carrying attacker appeared to slash at people at random, like this innocent woman just walking on Sunset Boulevard. When we freeze the video, you can see the shiny knife in the man's hand, ready to use.
Those stories ran the gamut, didn't they? We got the domestic violence. We got the robbery of the Asian guy. We got the white guy in the convenience store. Got the Craigslist murders. And every single second of every single one of these stories is a plea, is a challenge. Show me the white on black robberies. Show me the white on black murder. Show me all this white on black violence that people insist is happening. Out in Minneapolis today, we just had a court trial. 6 months, a year ago. It was during one of these nonstop protests in Minneapolis about white violence against black people. A couple of white kids rolled into the Black Lives Matter camp. They were chased out. At one point, somebody pulls out a gun, shoots somebody, wounds them. I think he was convicted on all these charges today, mostly because on the way to this protest, I think the kid made a video or made a posting talking about how eager he was to shoot people. So if somebody wants to say white people are stupid too, I would have to say there's Exhibit A of that. But it's so wildly out of proportion. And there's so much black on white compared to white on black. I don't know how. I question the capacity of even the most determined reporter to continue to ignore this, no matter how much he doesn't want to make the black kids angry.